Moving on now, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi says Tehran will never back down from its nuclear rights. His statement comes ahead of a new round of talks with the United States set to take place in Oman's capital Muscat. The talks mark the fourth round between the two sides in recent weeks, the highest level contact since Washington exited the 2015 nuclear deal during Donald Trump's first term. The United States has repeatedly demanded Iran halt uranium enrichment, a position Tehran calls non-negotiable. US envoy Steve Witkoff said Iran's enrichment facilities must be dismantled, but Iran insists its nuclear program is for peaceful purposes, not weapons. Currently, Iran enriches uranium to 60%, well above the 2015 deal limit, but still below weapons-grade levels. The talks were delayed due to logistical reasons just after new US sanctions were announced. Araghchi says Iran remains committed to good faith talks but will never agree to any deal that strips its nuclear rights. Well, joining us once again is Stephen Nagy, a professor of politics and international studies at the International Christian University, joining us from Tokyo, Japan. Stephen, thank you very much for staying with us and for your breadth of knowledge. Let's take a look firstly at these comments from Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, saying that Iran will never step down from its nuclear rights. Of course, Trump's rhetoric has been strong, saying if no deal can be reached, then there may be military action from the US to Iran. How inflammatory do you think this statement from Abbas Araghchi is?
Well, I think it's something that any foreign minister would say from Iran. It's not surprising, but the reality of where the Iranian regime sits today is very different from a year ago or 2 years ago or even 3 years ago. Whether we like what Israel has done in Gaza or not, they have fundamentally rooted out a key Iranian supporter. The Syrian regime has collapsed, and those proxies that Iran has been using within the Middle East to destabilize the region, destabilize Israel, and destabilize the U.S. presence have pretty much collapsed. Continued economic sanctions on Iran has made it very difficult for Iran to move forward. And quite frankly, their supreme leader, I believe he's 86 or 87, he's mortal like all of us, and he will be gone soon, meaning that they will need to choose a new leader. And I think that this is also more of a challenge for the internal politics of Iran. Do the majority of people want to continue down this route, or do they want to find a way to have a more productive, economic, resilient, and prosperous relationship, not only with the US, but I think the globe? And I think right now, the cards are not certainly in Iran's hand. And moving forward, I think their situation will be more difficult as the US and other partners pile more pressure on Iran.
Stephen, let's look at the positions of both nations involved in these discussions. The United States demanding that Iran halt its uranium enrichment. Tehran has said this is non-negotiable. How, given that we've already had 4 rounds of talks, do you see these two nations coming together toward a point of agreement?
Well, I think the United States and Iran have both looked at some key examples of what it means if you have nuclear weapons. North Korea, as a positive example of having North Korea, and I think my co-speaker, Dr. Kumar, has an image of the Korean Peninsula behind you. There's a reason why North Korea exists today, and it's because of their weapons of mass destruction. And Ukraine is the negative case. There's a reason why Ukraine was invaded by Russia. It didn't have nuclear weapons. And this is the perspective of both Iran and the United States, that from the United States standpoint, and arguably Israel and other countries in the region, there's no way do they want Iran and its current regime to be armed with nuclear weapons. It means regime stability and continued extreme radicalized Islam in the region, and broadly exporting that globally. And from Iran's standpoint, they're looking at North Korea and Ukraine and saying the best choice for Iran is to acquire a nuclear deterrent as soon as possible, provide regime security, and from that point they can start to expand their relations with other states like Russia, China, and perhaps North Korea.
Yes, Stephen, just before we let you go, I want to look at the wider regional tensions around Iran. Of course, the ongoing conflicts that Israel are involved with, the potential backing of many proxy groups by Iran. Do you think that plays a part in these negotiations as well?
Well, there's many aspects of the Iranian regime, but its proxies throughout the region are highly destabilizing, and they continue to be destabilizing not only, again, in the region around Israel, but in Iraq. Arguably, the Shiites in Saudi that exist there are potentially influenced by Iran. And of course, don't forget Afghanistan and Pakistan. And we were just talking earlier about the Indian-Pakistan conflict that is on the table right now. This is all related, and Iran wants to expand its influence. It wants to return to its historical position of being the center of the region. And the regime sees itself again as not only a theocratic state that is trying to spread and consolidate Shiite Islam, but as a state that would like to, again, reestablish its broader influence throughout the region. And that, of course, comes at the expense of other states within the region. And it's highly destabilizing, and I don't think the states in the region want to support it. And frankly, I don't think the United States and Israel and other allies are willing to support this kind of a regime moving forward. How they deal with that, their preference is diplomacy, sanctions, and again, the priority is preventing a nuclear Iran from emerging.
Stephen Nagy, I have to thank you so much for staying with us through multiple stories there. Your insight was extremely interesting and helpful. We will, of course, bring you updates from those conversations